Welcome back. Double pistols, good. To week 7 of From the Ground Up. We're out in the packing shed today, packing eggs for delivery on Sunday today. So I'm ahead of schedule for the first time in a while. But I thought, why not bring you out here and we can do something a bit different whilst I chat to you about what we've been up to this week. So we'll work through the 3. I'm pleased to report the hens have stopped attacking each other for the moment. However, we are still getting mortality. So where they have attacked each other's vents, their vents are now fusing together and they're not being able to lay or poo. So I've lost 2 more. And I think I'll probably still lose some more just because it's taken a while for it to, for the ones that if they weren't laying to come into lay or whatever. Laying in general as well, they have stopped laying. If you come over here, so where are we? So you can see where we stopped actually. So the first of the month we're getting 156. I've got 112 today, which isn't too bad, but the lowest 105 in the middle here. Yeah, it's dipped, and from L2 alone I got 67 eggs yesterday. So I'm just checking here just to see which ones are good or bad. So that's gone reasonably well. Putting them in the dark has really helped. But yeah, as you can see, lots of different reasons why we're struggling with cannibalism. And it's also, I think, one of the reasons why I've stopped doing social media, just because I do want to be as we get going, I want to be a force for positivity in the sector, not my shortcomings at the moment and my failures for my hens causing upset or just not being the example of good I want to be. I've got to keep saying that I'm going to return back to come collect eggs with me, but I am gathering momentum to start again in the next couple of weeks. It won't be this week because I've got an inspection on Thursday for this room and the meat room next door as well, which is where we process the cockerels and the beef and the pork when it comes back, as and when it does come back. So that is my week, so I'm not going to be filming because I've also got a mate coming to help on Thursday, do some more fencing as well, so I wanted to have to clear that whole day out for hedging. The cows are good. I went to an open farm walk over in Cambridge, which was on stabiliser herd, which is a really interesting breed. Well, it's not really a breed, it's more of a breeding program. They cross Charolais crosses so rather than being a pure breeding program, they are more of a way of standardising and trying to get as many data points in the production process, in the growth process, in the breeding programs as you can with the cattle. And that's what I really took away with it, is actually data is king, which I always kind of knew already, but really drove home that you can do a hell of a lot more if you have data, and even on small farms, and just drove home to me that we still need a consolidated way of sharing that data. Kind of example data points that they're on were the age of the first calf of the cow, the size of the calf when it was born, the size of the calf at X or Y weeks, and attributes as well, so the size and the height of the cow, growing speed, things like that. So it's those kind of things that they happen in everything, and that I always try and tailor this sort of stuff to not just be about animal production as well. And it's the same for, if you speak to Richard Perkins, he talks about it when he's producing in his market garden as well. He spends the winter months planning for his summer months, and then he records as much as he can, and he does that with his chickens, he does that with his fruit and veg production and things like that. So it just really drove home. Whilst I wasn't convinced, I'm a big believer in the low-line cows, and I think their size for small farms is perfect, and so I'm not rushing to change to stabilisers anytime soon. However, I'm going to lose eggs off the back here if I'm not fast enough. However, the whole thing really drove home how important it is to be weighing them regularly, really understanding what they're eating, how much they're eating, how fast they're eating, what kind of pasture they're favouring. Because if we do that, and then if we can standardise the way in which that data is gathered, we can really advance farming in general. And I think at the moment, a lot of data gathering is done in large-scale farms, And there's lots of really cool programs, and like data gathering is a massive part of farming it is today. We just don't do it in small farms, and data in small farms is very much different, but we can't really see or understand that at the moment, because whilst there are small farmers gathering lots of amount of data, many of them aren't, or that data is then being built in silos and not being analysed against one another. So not only do I want to consolidate the pipelines to be able to sell local food and small scale production, that data part is also a massive driver and something that I consider when I'm sort of designing the architecture of the system. So that was a really interesting day. They had 400 cows on the property, and then a load of bulls growing calves. So it was a big old herd, wintered from October to March, I think it was. So inside for a very long time. It did make me consider whether we should. My goal is our wintering months are going to be December and January, which is a big ask, but it has made me consider whether we should actually, rather than do what we do now, which is let them roam in and out on the pasture that we've got here, whether we should just commit and actually winter them indoors. It is going to be a lot more work because indoor cows are more effort than outdoor cows, but I think it would be better for the pasture and actually for the cows. We'd still feed them, they'll still be 100% grass fed because we feed them on the hay that we produce in here. The rain this week has returned, today in particular. It has been, yesterday we even saw the sun, which was, it's amazing how quickly you dramatise, and like my body was ready to just be in winter for the rest of its life. The sun came out and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be miserable for the rest of my life. And a bit of vitamin D goes a long way, which I always forget. It's so easy to do. But yeah, that was good. But now it's freezing cold again and the rain has returned. I think I'm circling around not getting another chicken flock and instead doubling down on breeding flocks. If I've got a flock of light Sussex, I'll probably have a flock of at least 20 of them, if not 24, and a couple of cockerels. You can ratio of about 12 to 1 cockerel, so I've got enough. If I do light Sussex, black copper Moran. Mum's just killed one of my brown Leghorns because he's vicious, but I've still got another one. So that'll be another breeding flock of brown Leghorns. And then cream leg bar. If I can produce them in a big way, £1.50 an egg, £2 an egg for the good quality ones. Good way of making money, which is was always the long-term plan. But the long-term plan was to have a lot more chickens by this point than I do now. Because I've lost that second flock, and the guy that's selling me to rightfully suggested that you've got to be cautious at this point with bird flu. So I don't know. And then Dad's new house is coming along well. I haven't shown you much footage of that yet. It's phenomenal. It's his main project. Like I've said before, the man is 80 years old and I've got him working like a dog, but it is actually a really good project to keep him, his brain ticking over. Oh, fucker. Did I break both of them or just one of them? Just one of them. And he's doing a really good job on it. So I struggle to help him at the moment just because I haven't got the time. I think it's working. I think he probably would like some more help from me occasionally, but the advantages of that house, and I think about it a lot, and like the pros of it compared to what we've got today, it's on a trailer bed, so it's raised off the ground, so the wet can't get in. The wet today just rises up through the floor of those polytunnels, and so it just doesn't work. So I think I probably will use that. I've got a bunch of hatching eggs I'm going to go in. They're probably ready to go in now, but I haven't sorted out the incubator in time. And that'll be, I'm going to put in about 420, I think, if I can. And so that should bring us probably 180 birds, 180 hens. And then probably soon after that, I'm going to have to put in another set. And I think they will all need to go into his new house. I haven't actually addressed this matter with him yet, thinking about this now, but rather than getting another flock. Again, pushes back revenue, pushes back capital returning, but I've got to really consider myself in all, and actually the long-term goal, which is build a platform build a community. If I was just building a farm here, I would have gone about this whole thing very differently. Which there's still the fallback plan. If it all goes tits up, I will just double down and focus on me and this farm and make profit. So that is pretty much the farm. Moving on to social media. I need to get back onto TikTok really. It's a good way of making money. I get paid per 1,000 views. I get paid far less than it would if I was producing views on YouTube. But I need to get back into the habit of TikTok. But I've just really focused on getting the platform sorted, which I'll talk about in a second. Still on 46,000 followers on TikTok. Tantalizingly close to 1,000 followers on YouTube, subscribers even. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please do so, because I want to get to 1,000, which I'm pretty sure is the gateway to unlock sort of commercialization and making money on YouTube, which would be good. We push on. L1 going through habits of eating eggs at the moment, which is a bit frustrating. We absolutely destroy them. These ones, mostly shells, so we just bin them. Anything with yolk left gets fed to the dogs. Which leads me on to the third thing, which is the platform, the building of the platform. It was actually going really well. I decided I was going to just lock in this week, and so the last 4 days, so Thursday to Sunday, I've just absolutely hammered it. I dusted off my old work laptop and was running 4 agents, so one working on UI, one working on the API on both of the laptops, so 4 agents in total, and just locked in for solid like that for 3 days. And then today I've just been sort of refining. Working like that, I must admit, it is effective as long as my brain's switched on and I'm able to follow what's going on. Otherwise I get burnt out, then the models just go awry because I'm just letting them do what they want, and then it doesn't work. So as long as I'm switched on when I'm doing that, it works well. But we made good progress. So in those 4 days, I built an entire shop side of things. So before that, I'd only had the merchant management side, which is the most important side for me, which is, you know, the merchant side together. So the producers, stockists, marketplaces, distributors and things like that, and the delivery processes. I've been building all that, and that's been my main focus. The shop is kind of secondary because I won't actually build most of the shops as they go. Lots of people will build their own UIs, etc. on top of them, but the first shop is obviously needed for myself to run the tests and get the proof concept out there. So I'm pleased to have got most of the way there. It's pretty slick in some places, in other places it needs some TLC. But yeah, pretty happy with that. I'm going to go back and do that work. It's one of the reasons why I'm doubling up work here and filming whilst I grade eggs, because I'll be working again this evening. So I think after this week, I'm going to start setting some sort of concrete, tangible goals of what I want to do with the platform in terms of customers I want to win. I've got a few in my mind where I'm going to start, and people that I've already sort of chatted about working with already and they've kind of agreed to. And then there's some bigger, longer shots that I need to go and figure out if I can win really. Stuff that I haven't really done before. I've got a couple of reasonable sized things I haven't really done before. I've built the integration into Stripe, but I haven't got it working in prod yet. I haven't really tried, so that's something just looming. Although so far everything else seems to be working as expected. Things like uploading to AWS and storing files in AWS for like images and icons is working. So hopefully it should work. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the new sort of take on things, different way of doing things. I've got a lot of footage to try and edit down because that was like 25 minutes, so much so that I think the SD card's running out. I will try and do better in these as I go, but like I said, this is more of a store for me, and just to help sort of bring people along, and just so that people can see that there is stuff going on. I just don't have it in me to produce daily videos yet. I'll be back. And I've got to remember that the internet just doesn't disappear. And I've not got big enough yet to be a has-been, which I like to remind myself. I'm thinking about starting a Discord channel. I was watching a YouTube the other day of a guy I can't remember his name, but he's running a football team in Kenya, and he runs a Discord channel, and he charges for his, which is less of a driver for me, but actually I really like the idea of just having a space that we can all sort of chat, similar to how we do it in TikTok comments or YouTube chat, but be able to like talk things through and get your input on stuff. Because I think the next few stages are so like fundamental that I work with people that know what they're doing, and like already, like we saw earlier in those comments, people really know their shit and have done what I'm doing. I don't want to walk the same path. I don't want to waste time doing work that other people have already done. So I might set up a Discord. I've never done that before. I don't really know how it works. In terms of public, I work on a Discord. The only Discord I got at the moment is one that tells me when I push to prod in Git. I'll let you know. Let me know if you've got any other ideas. Appreciate you if you're still watching. Appreciate you if you're not still watching, to be honest with you. If you turned up at all, you won't know that, but I do. Thank you very much. I shall see you on the next one.